This is your daily horoscope for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. All times are Pacific Standard Time. Today, we have a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. Now, this eclipse is taking place at 3:37 a.m. and it's also taking place at 12 degrees. So if you have any planets or placements around 12 degrees of Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, you're the main character. Now, this eclipse is going to bring us back to September of last year and March of 2025 and also September of 2024. Those were the last periods of time when we experienced eclipses on the Virgo-Pisces axis. Similar themes and topics, both personally and collectively, will be re-emerging. For me personally, last September is when I launched Grimoire for the first time. And I officially stepped into my teacher era. These eclipses are activating my Venus, which is in Virgo, which rules my 10th house of public reputation and major milestones. And I would say becoming a teacher has been so rewarding, but also a major milestone. Now, under this eclipse, I'm also gearing up to launch the next version of Grimoire later this month. It's my 12-week group mentorship that helps you develop a stronger relationship with your own intuition, psychic development, where you can learn astrology, tarot, how to connect with your own ancestors, and so much more. There is a link in the show notes. But personally, what are we dealing with when we have a lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo? Lunar eclipses are full moons. This is a moment of illumination, of revelation, but also of releasing. This is not a period of manifesting or calling in. It's also important to note that eclipses bring about fated events, new beginnings and endings that bring destiny into the mix. So if you feel like timelines are speeding up or your hand is being forced or things are taking place that you've been thinking about for a long time, but all of a sudden it's happening all at once, you're not alone. This is definitely most active in the Virgo and Pisces sections of your birth chart. Now, it's also important to note that when we have a lunar eclipse in Virgo and the South Node is in Virgo, the South Node is a point of release, what we are letting go of. This really brings up themes about releasing and letting go of any self-criticism and also grappling with how to release perfectionism. So if there are any conversations that you keep replaying in your mind, if there are certain habits or patterns or limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck or stagnant, this lunar eclipse can be a powerful time to shift your mindset, to change the way that you speak to yourself. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is a planet of the mind and communication. It's also possible that there are important developments or conversations that take place or news that we learn under this eclipse as well. Now, this eclipse is taking place in the second decan of Virgo, which is ruled by the 9 of Pentacles in the tarot. Something that I have never been able to ignore after reading in T. Susan Chang's 36 Faces is her description of the 9 of Pentacles, that yes, it's this card of self-reliance and enjoying the fruits of your labor and of financial security. But if you look at the card, the figure in the card is positioned in a very uncomfortable way and it feels very strategic. It's almost like there is a version of herself or themselves that they're trying to project outward. And so since this is a lunar eclipse, this is an opportunity to release any outdated versions of yourself that you are trying to impress others with or expectations that other people have for yourself. Doing so might bring about a deeper sense of emotional and financial security when you choose to do so. Now, this eclipse is also ruled by Mercury retrograde in Pisces. And so to me, that also indicates that there is something that needs to be redone, retooled, reflected on, reconsidered, all of the re's. Now that Mercury in Pisces at the time of the eclipse is inching its way slowly back towards Jupiter in Cancer. And that is actually a supportive connection. So that can bring a little bit of relief our way, of a little bit of hope maybe some inspiration if you're feeling a little destabilized from this eclipse. Later on, around 8 a.m., the moon in Virgo will form a sextile with Jupiter in Cancer. And that's the aspect I'm talking about. Even though we have this eclipse, which is destabilizing in general and speeds up timelines and brings fated events our ways, the moon is meeting with one of the most supportive planets. And in about a week, Jupiter is going to end its retrograde. So there is this turning point. There is this source of support available to us. And this can just mark a sweet moment in the day. Maybe you're feeling grateful for a friend. Maybe you learn lucky news, or maybe you're making progress on something that's meaningful to you. Later on, around 5 p.m., the moon in Virgo is going to form an opposition with Mercury retrograde in Pisces. And this is directly kicking up your personal Mercury retrograde story. This could be a moment where you hear from someone from the past, or you're rethinking an idea, or if you made an announcement too quickly, maybe you're going backwards and having to rework something. Or maybe there's a lot of conversations going on. You're dealing with a lot of text messages or people calling you all at once, or you just have a busy schedule around this time as well. This could be a moment where you speak too quickly or you say something that you regret. So just keep that in mind as well before you share everything on your heart without thinking once or twice before you do so. One other thing that I want to mention just about the Virgo archetype, since this eclipse is taking place in Virgo, Virgo is known for being of service, for paying attention to the small, tiny actions that we take in our daily lives that lead to massive shifts in our personal goals and in the collective. So this is really a powerful moment to also come up with plans, ideas, use your mind to commit to new strategies or daily habits or actions you can take that support your community, how you can leverage your own gifts and be of service and give back, whether it's with a friend or a neighbor or a roommate or an organization, but really reflecting on your role and how you can be a part of the larger whole and picture. Pisces, which is opposite of Virgo, and that's where the sun is during this eclipse, is all about unity consciousness and reminding us that we're all interconnected. And with the moon in Virgo, it's asking you to think about your role and how you can be of service in building and creating this larger world that reflects that we all matter and we're all interconnected.